Hey, thank you for coming by, Tori Magoo 44. Today is the 19th of February. It's Thursday. It's right after 2 o'clock. Scientology's week ends Thursday at 2. And that means everything has to be wrapped up by 2 o'clock. And depending on if their statistics are up or down, good things happen or bad things happen to them. They have to go to ethics. They have to do conditions. If they're down, they get libs, meaning a day off or a half a day off, depending on how high their statistics are. I don't think their statistics are real good this week. They're in the middle of a court case with Luis Garcia in Florida. And one of the things that has come up is about arbitration. And I just wanted to tell my personal story about Scientology and arbitration. Because people hear the word arbitration. First of all, people hear the word SP and it's, huh? It's very hard to conceive how awful a church declaring someone suppressive really is. I sat with a bunch of ministers and explained it to them. And at first, they were way on Scientology's side. Once they realized they not only declare people suppressive, and not just one or two, like they said, Hitler was an SP and Tory's an SP. I love that line. That's a really good one. And so did the ministers. It was like, oh yeah. But they put it in writing. Here's my SP declare. There you go. And that's by the Church of Scientology, flag service organization, right? And here it is on the back. And there's all their, copyright, blah, blah, blah. The Church of Scientology. And her only terminal is the Justice Chief via the Continental Justice Chief. The International Justice Chief via the, via the Continental Justice Chief, which neither one of them will talk to me, by the way, if you happen to be in and thinking, oh, she can talk to the Justice Chief. No, they won't ever, ever, ever call me. I've gone and sat outside of the HGB, which is their big international center where the executives are, and said, my only terminal is the IJC, bring them out. No, they won't. So it's just such a phony. Anyway, I'm going to tell you about my arbitration, our arbitration, because I was married and it was really with my husband at the time. We were in Scientology. So this is from the viewpoint of someone in the Church of Scientology. Bill Bowen and Ruth Bowen basically screwed my husband and his partner out of $150,000. Okay, that's what was rewarded to them in this arbitration. We got Rosser Cole, who is a Scientologist and an OT, which is their top guys, and an attorney. And he did it. And at the end, he even was grossed out at what went down. I'm not going to take all the time to tell you all the business facts behind it. But the outcome was that Bill Bowen and Ruth Bowen definitely owed Harold Bazazian $50,000 and his partner $100,000. Why the difference? Because my ex-husband at the time had signed some stupid waiver, which is why I tell people all the time, don't sign anything in the Church of Scientology. Nothing. But he'd signed some waiver saying he'd never sue them. So he only got $50,000. The other guy got $100,000. But did they either get anything? No. Here's what went down. I called Flag the next day because Bill had run off to Flag, which is in Clearwater, Florida. We're in Burbank, right? And the business is around here in LA. And I said, I'm calling about Bill Bowen, who's at Flag. We're calling to get our money, the $50,000. And they put me through to, I think, the Justice Chief or some ethics officer or somebody. And they said, oh, this has been deemed a personal issue. It's not a business issue. It's a personal issue, which, number one, is completely twisting it around. It had nothing to do with personal things. My husband liked Bill Bowen. It was not a personal issue. It was 100% a business issue. They owed him the money for the work they had done. That was it. And I said, look, we did the arbitration. That's what was decided by an attorney, a Scientology attorney, and that's the decision. And this is the response I got. Well, that arbitration policy has been canceled last night. Now, for me, I was like, Oh my God. It was the first time I realized you could pay off David Miscavige. And that I knew that had to happen because if you walk in flag at the top, it says Craig Jensen and Sally Jensen, top donators. Second donators are Bill and Ruth Bowen. So I figured Bowen must have picked up the phone and said to Miscavige or one of his minions, either get me out of this or the donations are over. Because I'm telling you, I had never in 30 years, or maybe it was 28 by then, I think it was 29. I had never heard of a policy being canceled like that. I mean, Hubbard could cancel a policy, and even then he only canceled one or two. But no, David Miscavige couldn't cancel a policy per keeping Scientology working. Let me see if I still have it right here. Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, I do. What do you know? I do. I have it here. Ah! Okay. Keeping Scientology working, right? This is their little thing, 10 things. You have to having the correct technology, knowing it's correct, knowing it is correct, teaching correctly the correct technology, applying the technology, seeing the technology is correctly applied, hammering out of existence incorrect technology, knocking out incorrect applications, closing the door on any possibility of incorrect technology, and closing the door on incorrect application. Now, Hubbard says in Keeping Scientology Working, and the whole big HCOB about it, that you can never change a word of what he's written. Not anything. Not an exclamation point. Nothing. Now, Miscavige obviously has done that. And to the people in, what the hell are you thinking? You know, what happened? What happened to L. Ron Hubbard? He's out the window and Miscavige can do anything he wants. What happened to keeping Scientology working? I mean, I'm dying to find out how you people justify this. This thing, just so people who aren't in Scientology know, every single course that you're on, you have to read this, you have to word clear it, you have to clay demo it. I mean, it's like in your head. Do you know what I mean? You have to know those steps, right? And the whole policy letter, which is a lot more than that. That's right. It's a HCOPL. It's a policy letter. It's not a bulletin. Okay, so that was my personal experience with an arbitration. So is that a real, people hear arbitration. We're all familiar with them now. You go to the doctors, you have to sign a thing. If you have any problems, you're going to arbitrate. Everyone, everywhere, it's arbitration. But is it this kind of arbitration? We could bring in person after person after person who did Scientology arbitrations, and the person gets screwed. It always defaults to the church. That's the way it is. And it's not a church, just so you know. It isn't a church like you've ever thought of. It is a mafia-like organization hiding behind the curtain of religion. That's a fact. And I can say that it's a business because you have to pay for every single level that you do. Now, they can say, oh, every church you have to give donations. This isn't a donation. They call it a donation. It's a fee. It's a charge. You have to pay it or you can't do the fee. You can't do the service. You can't even do any services at all, except they're a couple of little beginning life improvement courses. The rest of them, you have to become an IAS member. An International Association of Scientology. And that's, I believe, $1,500 for the first level on up to millions. It's unbelievable ripoff. So to any judges or legal people that are trying to put together Scientology and their arbitrations, it isn't what you're thinking as far as arbitrations. This is a con. Think of a guy with open the thing and there's all the watches, the cheap ones on up to the top ones. That's really Scientology. That's their arbitration. And you know what? You pay them enough money and maybe you can get your right decision. But it's not arbitration like you think of it. It isn't arbitration. It's totally manipulation. That's it. All right, so there you go. I'm off. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and I will too. Bye-bye.